It's 2025 and it's freaking crazy that it is January 9th when the day I'm recording and how fast things are going. But I've been working on some things and I'm really, really excited to talk about it later on. But during this time when I was like reflecting on like, okay, what episode should I do this year? Like I really want to plan a bit more. I kind of realized, like going over through the episodes, I kind of realized that I haven't really introduced myself. I mean, I should remember this song, but yeah, I haven't really introduced myself, and it's kind of crazy because I've been doing this podcast for now 2 years officially. I started the podcast like mid-January, so next week I started like sending emails and whatnot, and March was when I launched the first episode, which again, it's freaking crazy to kind of say, and say that I haven't really introduced myself. So I kind of want to share my journey, kind of like where I've been, what's been going on, how I kind of like started with all this, and through that kind of like share about myself. So with that being said, welcome to another episode of Mono Maresco. Today we have our first solo episode in 2025, and I'm really, really excited for this year and for what's to come, and hopefully you are too. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to subscribe. And in Spotify, you can comment as well. So with that being said, let's start the episode. Okay, so 2025, introducing myself. Okay, so for those of you who don't know and don't know me, or this is your first time listening to me, my name is Andrea, and I am a lot of things. I'm also not a lot of things. That's not how I was gonna start my intro. I'm sorry. I apologize. I actually did. For those who don't know, I tend to be very spontaneous with my episodes, and I tend to not plan the episodes. But this time I do have some notes, so I'm actually kind of excited. So just so I don't go all over the place, or at least have some structure through this whole thing. But pretty much, I am 24 years old, and I started this journey officially probably like 3-4 years ago, where I really got into like the spiritual aspect of things, so like learning how to meditate or understanding what inner child is, or you know, patterns, being able to co-create your life, you know, so like all those like fancy terms, manifestation, law of attraction, stuff like that. But it kind of really started way before that, and really the changes I've made have really been like this past couple months. But it all kind of really started because I've always been someone who questions a lot of things and a lot of perspectives, really. I'm also like a very adventurous person, but again, more in like this like perspective type thing, and like why do we believe the things that we believe in, and like kind of like explore those things. And then like the adventurous part of also trying new things, and like why not, and really not being scared to try new things, or like when I do get bored, it's like, okay, let's try something else, let's do something else. And so yeah, I've always been someone who questions a lot of things. I've questioned like my family's beliefs on like religion, on like what it means to be a woman, or like those like traditional roles of stuff like that. And growing up, I was always really that student who's a shy kid, and you know, always was very nice. I was always nice, and but it was always like those like when you go to the parent conference, it's like, oh, your daughter's like, she's really nice, she's wonderful, she just needs to participate a bit more. And that's always something that's fine with me. I'm a very shy person, I'm an introvert, you know, stuff like that. And so when I started like questioning these things, I'm like, why am and actually that's actually one of the things I've always questioned. It's like, why am I the way I am? Like, why am I always angry? Why do I always have to like react this way? Or, you know, why do I have to like live this certain life? Why do I have to go to school? You know, stuff like that. And it like stuff like that really made a lot of questioning. And then I was always in like funks. I was always sad and whatnot. And so I really started questioning a lot of those things, and a lot of those feelings that I had. Those feelings. I remember I was watching, and this is kind of like out of notes, but when I was like editing, I was what's it called? I was like looking through some photos in my computer, like kind of like organizing them. I found this video where it was from like 2019, 2018 probably, maybe beforehand when I was in high school. And just like the way I spoke and like I was wearing braces during the time, so it was definitely kind of a while ago. And I was just like it was just like I was just crying. I was crying in the video and my eyes were so puffy, and I was like, I don't know why I'm so sad, but I just know like there has to be something more out there. Like there's just like there's no way like this is what life is about. And that was really just like my childhood. I really don't remember much about my childhood. Like I don't really have a lot of memories, but it was always that feeling like there has to be more. There has to be more. And because I questioned those things openly, I was never really scared to kind of like say, especially specifically with my family. I was never really scared of like saying stuff like that. Um, and I was really the one who like started breaking a lot of like barriers or a lot of like beliefs or like why we think that way. And I forgot kind of like where I'm like trying to look at my notes like where am I where am I at? This is why these episodes these episodes are all over the place. But pretty much there's also a lot of expectations at the same time. Like even though I did question these things, like there was also that fear of like I didn't know that there was no guidance on like how I could do things differently and what can I do to actually improve. And you know, there's always those expectations from family, like you gotta get good grades and go to school, graduate, whatnot. And even like those like expectations of family were really strict parents where like you're either a lawyer, a doctor, or a failure. And thankfully, my family wasn't like anything like that, but it was definitely like at an education. And even though I did question a lot of things of like school and whatnot, I also understood that I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And if I don't know what I want to do with my life, then I do have to go to school, at least just to like get that leeway of figuring things out. And I still haven't figured things out, but I did end up going to college. And so I kind of like got into this whole thing of wanting to change, and it was really until a specific moment, really, where it kind of like started. I started to change my perspective, or it really, really, really like planted the seed of wanting to change. And that was in I don't really remember the year, but I do remember it was probably high school, and I was in Manhattan with my cousin, and we went to this store. It was probably like Gary Fossil or American Eagle or something like that. And I went to this like section of like books, and it was at like these like tiny books that they have, and I got one of those books. I opened the random page, and in that page, it was like a picture of toothpaste, of different toothpaste, and it was kind of like a science book. And pretty much like this page, it was stating that depending on how your toothpaste is, it kind of like it means something. It means you're in this like emotional state or whatnot. And it was really impactful because like I mentioned before, I always question like why am I sad, why am I angry, blah blah blah. And in this book, the way that I believe it was the tooth, because it was like a scrunch, like when you like squeeze the toothpaste and you just like leave it like that. And I don't remember the other two, but the second one, or one of the one out of the second out of fourth, or however you say it, it was like kind of like the ones where you kind of like squeeze it and then you kind of like roll it. I think it was that one where it meant you were depressed, and that was really shocking because like I said, I am someone who said like, oh, I'm really sad, blah blah blah, and like getting that little confirmation that I could be depressed made me not want to be depressed. And that was really the start of the journey of like, no, I can't, I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to live life like that. And I'm not really sure what happened afterwards, because after that, it's been a really long journey of like this whole personal development journey. Um, but that was really like the start of like kind of like it stayed in my head. Just like I don't remember if this was before or after, but this also could have been another one where I don't know if you guys watched Don Francisco. We used to watch Don Francisco when you were like growing up. But I remember specifically this like episode where it was like these like chubby people who were trying to lose weight, and in one of these things as well, they had to like write a letter, and it was handwritten. And so someone will analyze that letter, and pretty much like what it said is that if you're writing, when you write and you don't really think, you just like write unconsciously, um, and like you're not really thinking about it. When you're writing down, that means you're sad. Like there's a lot of feelings of sad, anxiety, and whatnot. When you're in neutral, like kind of like really straight, like you're pretty good. And then when you're writing up, that means like you're happy. So that always also really got stuck in my head. And I was like, shit, I need to focus. Since that day, I've always like try to make sure like my when I write like either neutral or like happy. And usually, thankfully, it's always happy. And I'm like looking at my whiteboard because like right now, it's like it's going up. So I always really try to do that. Okay, I am like still in the first point, and it's already been so minutes. But yeah, that's so pretty much. I like a quick thing also that I had here is that Einstein, like I don't know if it's Einstein, and I forgot to search it up properly, but there's that definition of like the definition of anxiety is when you do things all over again and expect something to change. That's literally like my definition for the past like 3 4 years. That's the a defining word for like these past three 4 years, because I've done a lot of things where I feel like I just keep doing the same and nothing really changes, and I feel like I was going insane. But I'm kind of like skipping over some stuff. So like pretty much like I won't like say my whole experience and everything I'm kind of like through the years, which is actually something I want to do when I wasn't planning this video. But that was again, so going back, that was like a key word. Sorry, a key moment in my life. That toothpaste, like that, really was life changing for me, and in ways I didn't really expect. But it was definitely, it put that seed in there, and like it made me wanna investigate more or like try to improve like some way somehow. And yeah, I think it really was that, because now I'm like remembering some things, and it's like there's like when I was younger too, I couldn't really like laugh as crazy as that sounds, and I never really mentioned it either. But The Office was kind of like the one where I was like, it got me comfortable being myself, like just laughing. Like laughing is just such like, I do it now. It's like it's crazy that I would like repress myself from laughing. So that was also not part of the thing, but now you know. Um, so yeah, I started doing like little things of like wanting to change and whatnot, and this is like really really important, because the questioning, of like, why am I like this, and maybe you don't even like get the answers like early on, but just the understanding that you don't want life to be this way, like you are aware that the life you're living is not the life that you want. It really creates a seed, or plants a seed, in like wanting to change. And when information comes in from the universe, from God, whatever you believe in, you start to get curious on the information that comes your way, and that's really really exciting. So yeah, I started to do things a bit more differently, like laughing, smile. I always used to smile more, but like actually like intentionally, or I always, because I also met like some friends like either like middle school or high school. They also really helped me get out of my comfort zone pretty much, and I got into sports. I like I mentioned before, I'm someone who like likes trying new things, so that was really like a great way to get out of my comfort zone, like sports. During middle school, I learned how to like do nail designs. Like summer of like middle school and like, going to high school, I learned how to like crochet. I was painting. I was 2018, I was like roller skating, and just like a bunch of stuff, learning different languages, or trying to. I never really learned, and right now I'm actually getting back into it. I'm really really excited because I'm learning Chinese, and it's like, ni hao ma. Sorry, that's so bad. But yeah, that's pretty much another one, real quick. The one that I know. Let me know if you guys speak Chinese or Mandarin, like if I'm saying this right. So it's like one that I remember right now is like 我不喜欢一个人吃饭. Sorry, I said that wrong. Okay, let's keep going. Um, And yeah, so like through this whole journey, I've been like the black sheep in my family of like learning new things, like listening to Farbroka, listening to Tanya, getting into Arcangel, getting into like this whole manifestation stuff, getting into like energies and frequencies and whatnot. So I've been like the black sheep in this family, and it's been really cool because now that like looking back, I've planted a lot of seeds like for my family as well. At least that's what I want to say. Maybe my family sees differently. I don't know, but I really questioned a lot of things, and I think that made them question a lot of things and have that conversation, maybe consciously or unconsciously. And like this journey has really been of remembering really who I am, and that's something I learned from Asul is like sometimes we don't really need to understand like why we're like this, like the trauma and whatnot. It's more of like remembering who we are, what we love to do, what we want, having that clarity and understanding what our gifts are so that we can share it to the world. Because at the end of the day, like most of our missions, like it's a purpose. There's a service behind it. Whatever you do, usually there's going to be a service behind it to the greater good. No matter if you're an artist, if you're a chef, if you're an author, like whatever it is, that you're providing some type of service, and that's really where you create a lot of purpose in your life. And so, and even like through this whole journey, like as excited as I am to kind of like talk about this like journey and the things I've learned and the amazing things, it has not been an easy journey at all. I've cried so much, like falling asleep crying, anger, frustration, sadness, funks, all of that throughout these. Even like a couple of months ago, like it's a it's a journey for sure. There's definitely not an end destination, but it's something I wouldn't change for the world. Of I'm really glad, like even though I'm not where I want to be, I'm really glad that I'm conscious and that I'm doing stuff like this where I could share my journey, I could share my experiences, even if it takes me like more than 18 minutes to share. But yeah, that's like this journey has helped me through that, but it hasn't been easy, and it just hasn't been easy. And that's actually an interesting point too as well, because this is from a reel that I also watched like a couple of weeks ago, where it was saying like people shouldn't really be romanticizing their lives in the sense of like, oh yeah, everything's rainbows and ponies or rainbows and unicorns or whatever. It's not always going to be like these happy moments. There's a lot of deep work that we got to do sometimes. um but that, of course, that doesn't mean like you should like I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should romanticize your life, but you should also understand that there are going to be downs downs and lows or obstacles coming our ways where we're always going to be learning. And through that process of obstacles coming in our way, there's gonna be funks and we are gonna be sad and we are gonna be frustrated, but we're also gonna go through that and life is gonna be good at the end of the day. But and I also mentioned how like I really haven't really like I've really seen the changes just these past couple of months, and it's kind of crazy because since that toothpaste thing, it's probably been almost a decade. And since I really like got into spirituality, like really learning about it, it's probably 2021. 2020, 2021, I met Farbroka and Tanya. That's really the people who introduced me to all these like more spiritual stuff of like angels and energies and consciousness and whatnot. But 2020 was kind of like my fitness journey, and because when I would listen to podcasts like you gotta start exercising and like that's gonna create discipline and whatnot. But then I literally did 2020. It was exercising every single day. and and actually quick, because it's also learning about me, it's about me today. It's in when the pandemic hit, March 30 something, March 29, March 30, it was like a Friday. I like shaved my whole hair, and this is what I'm saying, where I'm like the rebellious and I kind of like questioning things is like, I've always wanted to cut my hair bald, and now I know that I don't look that great, but I always had that espinita on me, like, I want to cut my hair, I want to cut my hair. But growing up in a lot of like family traditions, a lot of like cultures, like a woman's hair is like everything. It's like you gotta keep it nice, whatnot. I mean, I've never been of that, but I always understood that hair is really important. And so I shaved all my hair. And it's been one of the wildest things that I've done for sure. My mom was mad. My dad has always been very supportive, and something I really realized more these couple of years. But my dad's always been very supportive, that he ended up shaving his hair as well. And even though it's not like the biggest deal for men, still shaving your hair is like a big thing as well, like completely bald. So, I will do stuff like that to get out of my comfort zone and kind of like question the things of the things that I can do and the things that we are allowed to do as a family level and a societal level. I really wish the experience would have been a bit different, since like, gotten like better clothes, or felt better. But I was like, what did I do? But at the end of the day, like, it was just an amazing experience overall, in the sense of like, I did what I wanted to do, and I didn't let others' expectations kind of like make me hold myself back on doing the thing. But going back into my notes, so I forgot what I was saying or where I was going when I was mentioning that. I'm going all over the place, and I apologize. But this is the real me. Like, this is me, the real me, like going all over the place. So when I was looking back, and how I mentioned that this past 6 months has really been the months that I really felt a difference. And so when I was like reflecting on why that was, like, what's the reason that I've been able to really be more present, really enjoy life more, like just feel happy because why not, type of thing. I was reflecting, and it was really like the common denominator was because I didn't believe in myself. With all the work that I was doing with with removing the blocks from like family, or like understanding that like my grandma like had to live this life, and like the traumas that like went through generation and generation, like the patterns that my close family now, like my parents, my aunts and stuff like that, like their patterns, and like how they live life and how that has influenced us, like understanding all that, understanding like my own trauma of like, okay, why don't I remember my memories of childhood, that like all of that, even understanding all that I never got into the journey of like self-love, of like really believing in myself, of like knowing that I am a powerful human being, and that I can co-create my life, and that I am enough, and that I am deserving, que me lo merezco, all these stuff. And because I didn't really understand that the power that I have and that we all have, and I wasn't really able to change. And really the thing that kept me going, of like wanting to understand and wanting to improve, is because I knew deep down that like I wanted to change. I know that I want a different type. I want a different lifestyle. I want to experience certain things. I want to go out of my life. I don't want to be working in a 9 to 5, and in a job, specifically in a job that I hate. Like, I could work a 9 to 5, but I want to love the work that I'm doing. And so that was kind of like the journey. I kind of figured the common denominator, which is not believing in myself. And again, it was really, really when I kind of like when I kind of realized that, I was kind of confused, because I was like, but I'm doing all the work. I did the inner work. I did the inner child thing. I understand like patterns. I understand ancestral trauma. I understand why there's so much anger. And don't get me wrong, there has been changes. Like, don't like the things I've experienced, and I am so grateful for it. Just like quick ones. Just starting this journey, the podcast, going to Texas for the first time, and being able to take my mom and meet Fer Broca, um, go to Mexico when I am undocumented. And recently, my other Texas trip that I did solo, like a solo trip, and the amazing things that happened. So don't get me wrong, I have been feeling good. I've had experiences that I'm like, oh my god, this is freaking crazy. I can't believe it's happening. But there's always like, usually after those like big things, there comes a lot of feelings of like, fuck, I need to do something more. Like, I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. But that pressure of like needing to do more made me not want to do more, and kind of like, and because I didn't have the clarity of like, what's my purpose? Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? It's like, how am I supposed to do something that I don't know what I want to do? So it was really confusing, but again, I kind of like figured it out. Like, okay, I still don't believe that. Really, the common denominator is I still don't believe in myself. So the last 6 months of 2024, I did like a palm reading. I went to therapy for the first time, and you can check out the episode. Um, in I'll probably like link it maybe here, like wherever I can, or in the description. I went to therapy. Um, I started doing more guided meditations, like especially like what's her name? Marissa Peer's meditate on money meditation, of like understanding that I'm deserving of these things, understanding that there's a unlimited um, unlimited amount of money for, and there's like enough for everybody, stuff like that. I I took probably some courses. I went back to some of the courses that I took prior, like throughout the years, and really the inner dialogue with myself. I think the biggest things have been like gratitude, gratitude for everything. Literally, um, I wake up in the morning, thank you. I drink water, thank you. I have an amazing experience, thank you. I get paid, thank you. I'm able to pay something, thank you. I live a tip in when I go to a restaurant and whatnot. Thank you for being able to give this. Um, it's just thank you a lot. Thank you for like the small moments, the big moments, everything. And through that as well, like looking back and being proud of the things I've done, because I've I've done these things mostly like by myself. Like I've gotten support and whatnot, but I've done these things myself. When I went to Texas for this solo trip, my mom did not want me to go. She's like, "How are you gonna go?" Blah blah blah. She was really scared, and I was like, "No, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm doing it. I planned it. I barely had any money, and I still did it. And so like stuff like that, like being first of a lot of things, I was like, oh, like I really gotta acknowledge how awesome I am. I really have to, and I really what's the word? I really encouraged you to look back and like be proud of the things that you've done. Like if you're watching this, you're probably someone who knows that wants to change your life. You know that the life you're living is not gonna get you to the life that you want. And so questioning these things and looking back and being proud of those moments is really, really important. And so that has been a huge factor of like Andrea, like what are you doing? Like what are you talking about? Like, you are deserving of these things. You're deserving of way more. And just like everybody else. So gratitude, understanding or acknowledging my wins, um, just like meditating more, being more um, like being more grounded has been a huge thing. The inner dialogue I have with myself. When I make a mistake, I give myself so much grace. When I tend to wake up really late, and it's like, okay, we woke up late. We got the sleep that we needed. What do we gotta do? And just doing like the thing that matters, like the thing that's gonna push the needle, and just doing the thing, and that's a win. So having a lot of grace, a lot of like not forcing a lot of things, not like you gotta do this, not David Goggins style of like who's gonna carry the boats? Who's gonna carry? Because that was me 2020 with David Coggins. I was like listening to the audiobook. Who's gonna carry the boat? Me running in the fucking snow while it's snowing and there's like ice everywhere. Who's gonna carry the boats? You know, that was me in 2020. It's fucking crazy. And now I'm more like this peaceful, chill. Sometimes, not all the time. Honestly, you can see me and I'll be like, but you know, it's not always gonna be like that. But I've definitely gotten more grounded. Like when I learned how to drive, I was what's it called? I used to have road rage. Like I was like, you fucking like I would never honk, but I was like, right, you stop it. and through this whole journey, my road rage has really, it's almost like it doesn't really happen anymore unless I go to New York and I'm like driving after 10. Recently, after like I think it was like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, no, a week ago, I was driving with my family and like this freaking, I don't know if it was a guy, I think it was a guy, like it was his exit, he was exiting, but like I guess he realized that wasn't his exit, so he wanted to go in the other lane, so I was almost like there, so this dude was gonna hit me, so I was like, what the fuck, you fucking idiot, and then I actually hung out, like, but it was like that wonky honk was like, instead of like, I should have done that, but I'm going all over the place, okay. But yeah, like road rage like that doesn't happen a lot anymore, and that's something I'm really proud of. I used to have a lot of anger problems. So yeah, so those have really been the things that have helped me a lot, and there's probably a way more. People have helped me a lot with like Fer Broca, Solanete, Jay Shetty, Lewis House, Marta, Jordi, Eder Campos, a lot of people like that have really helped me. Tanya, Omar Valen, you know, all these people, books that have like, helped me immensely. David Goggins is the man. Like even though he's like intensity, like he's been part of my journey, and man, I would love to meet him one day. So that's pretty much been my journey, and again, the biggest, there's been a lot of conflicts, a lot of obstacles of like expectations, lack of clarity, just like lack of guidance. I really have nobody to like oh yeah, so when you're feeling like this, like what do you do differently, or what advice or what resource or what exercise do you have for me? I don't have anybody like that in my family, and YouTube has been the resource for me. But then the biggest obstacle again has been the self-love journey, the understanding that I am deserving of things and that you are deserving of things, que nos lo merecemos, and that we are powerful human beings and we can co-create our lives or create our lives because we are in control and we are responsible for the life that we have. And if this is like a big wake-up call, understand that you are responsible of how you're living your life right now. And if you dislike your life, if you are unhappy, if you are stressed out, if you like hate your job, unfortunately, yes, there's a lot of factors of society, of like family and whatnot, but if you're like 18 plus, especially like 20 plus, 21 plus, like you have to understand that you are now responsible for your life. And there's, especially in this time of age, I would have understand like 1980s and 1990s, but right now we have so many resources that the answers are there. And if we're not doing something to start changing, it's just like 1% every single day, what are you doing? So if you're watching this video, you have to, you're here like one out of curiosity of like, okay, I do understand that they're like this whole, I'm also in this personal development journey and I'm trying to change things, and I'm curious on like maybe how you did it or what you're doing. There's people from my family and my friends are watching, I'm like, hi, and they're like kind of forced to watch, and that's kind of like the reason why you're watching. Or 3, you just like click because you were compelled to do so, like for whatever reason, like this story, as maybe as cringy as I am, you know, maybe helped you and actually helped you realize that you could do the thing that you want to do. Like, I'm here being cringy of like, I don't even know where I'm going with this and going all over the place. This should give you some type of I'm not giving you permission. This should give you some type of permission for yourself to do the thing that you want to do the thing, as scared as you are, as lack of skills that you have. Like, it should give you some type of like permission or courage to start that thing. Because let me tell you, my skills are probably like down here. My intelligence is probably like right here, and I'm just like I'm an average person. You look at my subscribers, 117. You look at my views, like 30 views per episode. So there's really no excuse. Just do the thing, be consistent with the thing, and just see the things that could happen, the possibilities. Because even though I haven't had success on this podcast, success in like expectation wise, I've learned so much during the trip that I took in April for Texas, the solo trip. That would have never happened if I hadn't started the podcast. One, because the reason I did the trip was because of the podcast, celebrating the 1 year anniversary of the podcast. I told myself, if I can collaborate with creators, then I can go. Like, there's no point. It was really for work and for Fred Broca. And the third one was the podcast anniversary. I ended up going to Fred Broca's course. I ended up collaborating with 3 content creators: Faith, Leslie, Paloma. Shout out if you're watching for some reason. And then I had an amazing, with Fred Broca's course, I had an amazing experience. I had amazing experiences, like with an S at the end. I met Claudia, I met Michelle, and they allowed a stranger to be at their homes, and I'm so freaking grateful. I was able to experience van life in like for 2 days because Michelle and Claudia gave me a place to stay. And again, I am so grateful for that experience, and shout out to them if you're watching. Like, love you. And it's just stuff like that. Like, if I hadn't started the podcast, I would have never had those experiences, and that has opened so many doors for me of like possibilities, like just miracles and all that stuff, manifestation. And you starting that thing scared, not overthinking things, is gonna open so many things. And maybe it's gonna take a while, maybe it's gonna take 4 years, maybe it's gonna take 3 years, maybe now it's gonna take less, because you understand that the journey starts with you of remembering who you are, and loving yourself and knowing that you are enough to start the thing that you want to do, no matter how you feel, no matter the fears, the miedos that you have. Like, you got this. Okay, let's see if I have anything else that I want to add, because you guys gotta understand. You guys gotta understand that we gotta understand that we're here for a greater purpose. And again, as cringy as it might be in the beginning, and now, like, literally 2 years later, I'm still cringy. I'm still like, what the fuck am I doing? But looking at the progress of like being a shy kid, having anger problems, erasing a lot of memories, a lot of childhood memories from like last month. You know, I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm kind of like surrendering to expectations, to what am I supposed to be doing, and like being guided by the universe, by God, by angels, by this like whole spiritual realm who wants the best for me. And you have your own beliefs, you can believe whatever you want, but at the end of the day, the main thing is the main thing to understand is that you are a powerful human being, and you get to choose the life that you want. And like, I have a quick note right here, like, of the being shy. You know, I never thought I'd have a podcast. I never thought I would be making videos, even though my friend Carol, shout out to Carol, she sent me a video where I was doing like a haul, like a unique little haul and a Target haul, and I was like, welcome to my channel. My name is Andrea. Maybe I'll put like a clip if I remember. And like that was so wholesome because it's like one, I actually kind of, I feel like I kind of look different to like the confidence or the voice or like I don't know. I'll try to put a video. It was so funny. It was really wholesome. So I really never thought I was gonna be here like sharing these stories or me always like being frustrated of like what do I want to do, what do I want to do. I ended up being in this path, um, and I knew and I have years. I knew I wanted adventure, but I didn't know what the path was. And through this journey of listening to myself and being reminded of what I was meant to do here, or like kind of like I don't know what I meant with it, but being reminded of who we are meant to be. And that's something I listen to a lot with Azul, because she mentions a lot of like sometimes we don't really have to look at the traumas or all of the generational patterns and whatnot. It really starts within, like, how am I feeling now? How does my body feel now? What do I want, like, where in my body do I actually feel good? And let's focus on that. And then you start to become present, and you start to like really forget about the thing that you were, not forget, but like you're able to see that experience, that situation in a different lens, in a different state. And that's really important. So to kind of like conclude this, like my personal development journey and whatnot, right now, where I am right now is that I have a few projects that I want to do this year, and the main one, and this is the one I've actually mentioned a bit before, and it's starting a community of people who, like me, are in this personal development journey. I mean, disclaimer, I am not an expert in anything, but I do want to have this community of amazing individuals who are doing the work and who are in this self love journey, in this personal development journey of wanting to create the life that they want. That they also don't want to do things by themselves. I've been in this journey, not completely by myself, but there's certain things like my YouTube channel, trying to be a content creator, traveling and whatnot, where I can't really relate that with my family, or connect that. What's the word that I'm looking for? But I can't really. Those are not the goals for my, like. It's a different path from like where my family is, and even though they're on their own path, and I'm really happy for them, and like in the things that they're doing, like I have this path where I want to create a community. I want to connect with people like my age as well, who are doing the thing and want to do things differently, and don't want this journey to be by themselves, because it doesn't have to be. And that's something I've learned as well, is that you don't have to do this thing by yourself. And like by joining courses, by joining different communities, it's really helpful. And the goal really is to do monthly reflections of like, where am I? What are my goals? Am I achieving them? Am I remembering who I am? There's like money dates of like looking at our finances and whatnot. There's social hour or social event where like we get out of our comfort zones. It's like we are forced to talk to people, because why not? There's probably gonna be like some type of workshops and of like people coming in and talking to us. I also want to do like giveaways of like, I'm into like oracle readings, and I don't know if you can see it here, but I have 2 oracle readings. So probably like do an oracle reading for like 1 or 2 people a month, or a numerology thing of like charts and whatnot. But that's like a little bit of the community that I want to build. And if you're really interested, or you like are inclined to kind of find out more about it, there's a link below, and you could join the waitlist. And you also will be once you confirm the subscription, you will be redirected to a form, so I could understand a bit more like where you're coming from, like what your expectations are, what have you tried and it's not working and whatnot. And I could like kind of like what's it called, tweak the what I want, and like the courses and whatnot, not courses, like guidelines or mini guides of like what I've learned, and kind of like sharing in there, and like kind of like sharing information and resources that it's going to be helpful for y'all, for all of you. But yeah, that's really where I am now, like creating this community. I also want to do a road trip some point this year. I was thinking the beginning of the year, but I think it's gonna be towards the end of the year, and it kind of sucks, but I think it's actually gonna work out. Like, I think that's gonna be a better option because I get to concentrate on the community instead of like trying to figure out where to go to a coffee shop to do a live event. Sorry. And yeah, that's really where I am. I'm definitely in a better place and I'm really, really excited. I am really happy. And yeah, I'm really happy. I'm not where I want to be specifically, but I am in a better state. And I'm not always happy. I was dying like on Tuesday because I'm my period. I was sleeping the whole day, but that's what my body needed. And I'm like, you gotta do what I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do what my body tells me to do. And one last thing that I have here too is that with this whole journey, I need you to understand that it's not gonna be easy. Again, like how I mentioned in the beginning, like romanticizing our lives. Like yes, it is like we should do that, but it's like that. It's more about that positivity. What's that word? Like always being positive. It's not about always being positive in the sense like, oh, I'm not angry. I'm not fearful. I'm like repressing those like negative emotions. It's not about that. It's not about that. And that's something that I went through. That's something that I went through. I was like, no, I don't want to feel these feelings. I want to be happy all the time. And that was probably one of the biggest obstacles for me is I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And I kind of like when like these big things happened with like Mexico road trip, Texas, after I got into funk, I was like, why am I feeling this way? Like if I wanted this and I did this and it was an amazing thing and it was something that I didn't think was possible, it's like, why do I feel sad? Why am I not happy? Why am I not motivated to do more? And I realized like it's because happiness is not a destination, it's a choice you make every single day. And so I think it's important to understand that. It's important that you gotta feel all the emotions. And I was reading this book. I'm listening to this book, and I've listened to it probably like 5 times already in just 1 month. And it's Conversations with God. I'm listening to it in Spanish, but it pretty much like one of the things it says how like the highest level, the highest state, I guess, or the highest frequency is love. And love, it doesn't come from like love is all the emotions. It's all the emotions. That's what love is. Just like the color white in the book that mentions how white is all the colors, all the colors mixed together. It's not like it's pure and it's just positive. It's all of the colors. Just like with love, it's not just like the good things. It's everything, and that's really important. That's a big lesson that I learned, and I think it's an important thing that you also understand. Like especially if you're at the beginning of this journey, like there's gonna be moments where you're frustrated. There was a moment when I was like really sensitive and I was like crying for everything. And when I went to the course with Veronica, I was I wanted to express my gratitude because I was in a different state. I was definitely more confident, but I wasn't able to express my gratitude. I started crying, and then he hugged me. If I find the video, I'll put it here. And I just started crying. I was like, I just want to thank you, Paula. And I was started bawling out. And that was so funny. So it's like all of that is part of the journey, and don't fear those emotions. Don't be scared of those emotions that are gonna come up, those like inner wounds and all of that. But definitely start with the self-love journey. And if you speak Spanish, I'll leave these like affirmations or decretos that I learned from Monica Munoz. And if you speak Spanish, like you literally saved yourself like right now, like probably like $100. But here's some decretos that I recommend. Yo soy un ser de fuego violeta. Yo soy un ser de fuego violeta. Yo soy la pureza que Dios desea. Yo soy un ser de fuego violeta, yo transmuto, and then just say the emotion that you want to get rid of. So, yo soy yo soy un ser yo soy la llama violeta, transmuto todo el miedo que tengo en todos mis cuerpos. And just say that. And another one is, presencia de Dios en mí, te reconozco en mí y pido que te manifiestes en mí y en mi vida ahora. One that I'm doing right now about love is, let me see if I remember. Let me connect. Oh, I'm trying to remember, but I don't remember. I'll leave the thing, the character that I'm thinking about love, because it's like, no, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember, but I don't remember. I remember like a few parts, but I don't remember how it starts. But I'll leave it here. And those have really helped me. This is something I'm doing every single day, probably now for like about 9 days. With these secretos, the one with like, yo soy un ser de fuego violeta, yo soy la pureza que Dios desea. I've probably been doing that for like maybe like 2 weeks now. And again, all of these things, like, I don't know how they're helping me, but I'm pretty sure they're helping me some way, somehow. And it's like opening myself to a lot of things, and getting rid of especially a lot of fears, especially like with this community that I want to build. I don't know, like, this is something I'm just inclined to do, and following my intuition, like following, like, oh, okay, this is where my curiosity is going, but there's a lot of fear. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm doing this because I feel like the universe is guiding me here, and I'm excited about it too. Like, I'm super excited, and I'm super, I wasn't say sold, is that the word? I'm super sold. That sounds kind of weird. I'm just super excited of like this whole journey. And if you're interested, check the link below. I don't know why I did that. But let me see if I have anything else to say, because there's a lot of notes here for some reason. But yeah, that's just to kind of like wrap things up. It's 1:53 and I need to go to sleep because I gotta go to work tomorrow. Oh my god, I am so crazy. What time is it? Still 45. Okay. To wrap things up, that's really been my journey, like the things I've learned, and a bit about me, about my life of that. If you want like random details, it's like, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm 24, I'm awesome, I'm adventurous, I love a lot of spiritual stuff, and really spiritual stuff. I love like learning new things. So right now I'm trying to do a crow pose, I'm trying to do a handstand, I'm learning Mandarin. So Tai Tian, that's goodbye, I just remember that. 我会说中文. What else do I know? And yeah, that's really the things that I'm learning. I'm trying to, this whole like notes was from like a storytelling flashcard thingy that I bought. So hopefully, I think it went pretty well. It went all over the place, but I think it went pretty well. Definitely, I think it went way better than I originally planned on how I was going to do it. I think I gave more information that was really useful. And yeah, I'm gonna start pitching to brands and whatnot to see if we got some deals. But I forgot. This was me wrapping things up. But yeah, this podcast, this episode specifically, is to kind of like share my journey, learn a bit about me, and hopefully we can connect. Hopefully you join the community. Hopefully you're in the, even whether or not you join the community, I really hope you stay in this journey of remembering who you are, remembering the things that you love, remembering why you were meant to be here, remembering your gifts, and understanding that once you know these things, like, life is gonna open so much more. Once you understand the power that you have, that we all have, that synchronicities are gonna start happening, that you're gonna be like, holy crap. You're gonna get out of your comfort zone, you're gonna be more confident, you're gonna do certain things, you're gonna start the thing that you've been wanting to start. And while also understanding that it's not always gonna be like roses and stuff. And actually, one last thing. So when I started the podcast, I did the whole work, I posted the episodes, and in April, I was like, is this it? Like, again, with that feeling of like, I thought there was more. I thought after this I was gonna be good, and so don't be afraid of those things. Don't be afraid of those feelings. Don't be afraid of that self-sabotage. because that's just part of the journey. Like, you don't have to be scared. Just keep going. If you like go in a relapse and go in a funk, like I go in a lot of funks, like, know that you won't stay there, because deep down, you know that you're meant for so much more. You know that you're in this journey because the universe is reminding you that you're in this journey for a reason, that you're living this life for a reason. And so if you're watching this video and you ended up watching the whole thing, like, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. Is because the mereces. You deserve all the things that you want. And if you're clear on the things that you want, if you're remembering who you are, all these things that I've mentioned, like, man, oh man, is your life gonna change? And again, doing the things scared. I'm doing the things scared. I'm doing the things like, what the fuck am I doing? I have no fucking clue. But I'm following my intuition. I'm following where my curiosity is taking me. And I'm excited. I really am. I really, really, really am. So I hope you are excited for 2025. I hope that your goals, your dreams, the sales come true this year, and I know they'll come true if you start going within, loving yourself. So I think that's really it. I'm gonna stop here because I could keep going and I could keep giving some pep talks and whatnot, and like reminding all of us of what we have to do. But that's pretty much it. That's been my journey. That's my message to you all. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to follow or subscribe, whatever, and comment as well on Spotify, because that would be really amazing. That will make my 2025 as well. So have an amazing, beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one.